All right, we're staying on security, but this time in Bauchi State, where the state government has ordered the immediate closure of all public and private schools, including primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions, following extensive security consultations. The directive was announced in a statement by the Ministry of Education's Information Officer, Jalaluddin Usman. He says although the decision was difficult, it is in response to security concerns affecting the safety of students, teachers, and school communities across the state. The government reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding learners and appealed to the public to remain calm, vigilant, and cooperative by reporting any suspicious activity. Right, to other stories, as we step outside of our shores now, following the conclusion of its engagement at the 20th Summit of the G20 leaders in South Africa, Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Johannesburg for Luanda to represent President Bola Tinubu at the AU-EU Summit scheduled for Angola. At the G20 Summit in Johannesburg, President Bola Tinubu made a forceful global push demanding fairness, equity, and a complete reset of how the world trades critical minerals, manage artificial intelligence, a response to the crushing debt burden on developing nations. TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde has the story.
Inside the Johannesburg Expo Center, world leaders gathered under the theme, A Fair and Just Future for All. But for Nigeria, the message was clear. Africa will no longer be the world's mining site. And President Bola Tinubu is challenging global superpowers to stop extracting raw wealth from African soil while leaving African people poor. Vice President Kashim Shettima conveyed President Bola Tinubu's message demanding a new global mineral trade framework, one that forces value addition at the source and ends decades of exploitation that have seen Nigeria and Africa export raw minerals while importing finished products at high cost.
Across many regions, rising debt burdens continue to constrain economic progress and transform local challenges into global vulnerabilities. Ensuring debt sustainability while responsibly leveraging critical minerals for inclusive and enduring development must remain central priorities for the G20.
From lithium in Nasarawa to nickel, cobalt, and gold across West Africa, the global transition to electric vehicles and renewable energy means the world now needs Africa more than ever. Yet, President Tinubu warned this demand must not repeat the injustices of the oil era, where African nations generated wealth but never enjoyed it.
The current multilateral framework do not adequately reflect the realities of today's world. Many developing nations continue to face systematic barriers to economic growth, trade, and financial inclusivity. For trade to be truly inclusive.
In a world racing towards the dominance of artificial intelligence, Nigeria is again taking a clear stand, calling for global ethical standards that protects developing nations from the risk of AI bias, job displacement, and digital exclusion.
We commend the efforts of the World Trade Organization and its leadership for providing technical assistance to boost fair trade, including through the Women Exporters in the Digital Economy Fund launched in 2024. This initiative has provided grants and technical support to women entrepreneurs and strengthened their digital capabilities and access to global markets.
President Bola Tinubu's message comes at a time when Nigeria is pushing through major reforms under the Renewed Hope agenda. But these reforms, the president insists, cannot thrive if the global financial system continues to trap developing nations in endless cycles of debts. President Tinubu told the G20 that the world's financial architecture built after World War II no longer reflects the realities of today.
Nigeria, as one of the invited guest countries of this year's G20 summit, commends the concerted efforts of the group in mobilizing action towards accelerated attainment of inclusive sustainable growth, where financing for development is guaranteed and no one or country is left behind.
With global debt levels rising, with Africa still exporting raw materials instead of technology, with AI advancing faster than regulations can catch up. President Tinubu's message cuts through the noise. Africa does not want pity. It wants a fair partnership. And Nigeria, Africa's largest economy, is positioning itself at the center of the conversation. Femi Akonde, TVC News.